Hello, my tarot lovelies. How are you, my lovely darlings? Lovely to be here. And as you can see at the moment, I'm on my own because I've got a few things I just want to say and talk about tonight, which has been happening in over the past couple of months, to be honest with you. And I wanted the opportunity to talk about them, explain what's going on, and what effect, what changes, what this has meant to my life, and what I'm going to do to progress through this and take the channel on with stuff. So I hope this isn't going to be it's not going to be upsetting, and it is a positive conversation. I'm going to start off by saying that there's nothing in here that's to worry about. But as I said, it's part of my process of going through what's happened. I want to share with you because I haven't been able, excuse me, to share with you, for a lot of you, what's been going on, and I wanted to. So that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. But I can see there's lots of lovely people in chat. I'm just going to say a quick hello to you all. Minasa, hello, my lovely. It's crazy work schedule, so you're going to watch on playback. Well, lovely. Hello, Laurie. What's up? Well, you're about to find out. So, but nice to see you here. Hello, Sandra, my lovely. Good to have you here. And hello, my lovely Gerald, my good friend. And hello, Ben. Lovely that you're here too. Oh, lots of people here. Jumpy chat. Making the noise. Beth, hello to you. Very pleased to see you here. And Deanne, hello to you as well. That's Deanne's here, so everyone have a little sip. I'm on fruit tea at the moment. I'm not actually sure what fruit tea it is, but it is. Oh, Beth loves that Lenormand deck you flipped through, Sandra. Yes, it was fabulous. I enjoyed seeing that one there. Hello, Emmy. Lovely to see you here, all the tarot peeps. Hello, Ellie. Good to see you here too. And Gina, hello to you. Lovely to see you here. Hello, lovely Orshi. You almost misses. We've only just started, so I hope you're doing okay. Anyone else? I think Lisa's here. Hello, Lisa. Lovely to see you here. And oh, Ben's on it. Ben's got the spanner tonight, as some of you got spanners. Well, if you like to scroll, hit the bell. Thank you. Regina is working and listening. Of course you are, my lovely. That lovely jewelry won't make itself. It's lovely to see so many people here. Joan's here. Hello, Joan. Thank you all for stopping by. And Debbie's here. Hello, Debbie. Lovely to see you here. Trying to get through the next 2 hours of work without pulling my hair out. Sorry to hear that. I hope you can get through the next 2 hours, okay? Because the weekend's not far away, is it? So I hope you're all doing really well. So let's get on with the chat, and I'm just going to explain what's been happening. Like I said, I'm sorry if the title of this seems quite dramatic, but it has been a dramatic couple of months. And like I said, I just wanted to share with you what's been happening and my thought processes behind it. So it's, as I said, I hope none of this is going to be triggering. If it is, I'm really sorry. And there might be times I'll just say, might want to mute your sound if that's the case, but I'm going to have to tell it as it is. So therefore, do excuse me if that is something that's going to be there. Okay, so as you may remember, back in May, I had my 51st birthday, and Gerald held a wonderful birthday for me, and lots of lovely people were on the bed, and Orshi and Tangi, other people, everyone's there, and it was really, really nice. It was about that time that I started to have what I thought was indigestion pains, and they were going on and off for a couple of weeks around that time. And so I thought I better go and get checked out because I was getting pains down my lower right side. And I thought that sounds very much like appendicitis. So I thought I'm going to go and get checked out. And so I did. And actually what happened is I had a situation where it got worse. Um, Now, in the UK, we have the NHS. Everyone has their local doctor. And so your first port of call at this time is to normally just phone your doctor and see what they say and hopefully make an appointment. Well, because of COVID, the chances of me actually getting face to face with a doctor or my doctor is pretty impossible at the moment. They don't seem to do walk-in surgeries anymore, but they do conduct over the phone. And I did get hold of my doctor, who said basically, get yourself down to A&E. And A&E is the emergency part of the hospital, whether it's the ER, emergency room. That's how it's referred to as A&E in this country, which I did. And she said, I think that sounds very much like appendicitis. So yeah, go and get yourself checked in. So I did. So that was halfway. That was on a Tuesday. It was the week, just to put this in context, it was the week that I did the live with what did I do? Jonathan Daly. We were talking about his deck, and it was that week, if that means anything to you. So I went to the A&E, and unfortunately it was really busy, and I had to wait 7.5 hours, which was not much fun. In quite a cramped room, had to wear face masks. We're still wearing masks in hospital. And basically they took a blood sample, took a urine sample, and 7.5 hours later, I was met by somebody from A&E who went, basically, can't find anything wrong with you. Your bloods are fine. Everything else is fine. You're going to have to go home. Which at this point was really quite upsetting, as you can imagine. 7 hours in A&E, feeling a bit ropey, feeling a bit pants, as I call it, and not got the result that I wanted. And so I came home, and my husband, Peter, said, let's just phone 111. And 111 here is a non-emergency medical line that the NHS run. Basically, if you've got a problem, you're not sure how severe it is, speak to 111. They give you a checklist. They ask you lots of questions, and they will give you advice on what to do. So it might be take some painkillers, stay at home, go and see a doctor at the earliest opportunity, get yourself to hospital, or hang on, we're phoning an ambulance for you. So it's that kind of thing. So it sort of sorts out that. Well, I spoke to 111, and they said, I'm suggesting you go back to hospital. And I said, look, I've just been there for 7.5 hours. I do not want to go back to that place to sit for another 7.5 hours. And so I decided, or Peter decided, that we would go early next morning. So hopefully the queue will have died down. So we got there at 7:30 in the morning. I just noticed hospital, so no way 7.5 hours. Yeah, it was not. It was also a really hot day with no air conditioning, but that's by the by. So the next day we got there, it was a lot emptier. The waiting was about 4.5 hours. You know, easy. Done 7.5 hours. I can easily do 4.5 hours. And so I saw another doctor. Now, bearing in mind, this is the A&E, so there's not specific doctors. They're just A&E staff who are fantastic, but not, you know, they generally see lots of things. They're not specialists in things. And so they decided to, because I had pains, I was still talking about this, sounded like appendicitis, that I go and get my abdomen CT scanned. And they're fortunate we've got CT scan. I've got several CT scanners in my local hospital, which they did. So they put me on, which is a bit of a kind of weird. I've never been on one of those before. It's a bit strange if anyone's ever been on there. But they, you know, within 10 minutes, I've been scanned, and I sat and I waited. And I waited and waited, and then the doctor came and called me in, and I went, and he said, well, we can't, it's not appendicitis. We've had a good look at the CT scan and all the different dimensions it's come out in, and it's nothing wrong with the appendix, nothing really wrong that we can see with your abdomen. That bit's okay. And then there was a pause. And then he asked the question that anyone who's a smoker knows is the question you don't want to be asked. And he said, however, I need to ask you, have you ever been, or were you, or are you currently a smoker? And that's the question that just makes your stomach sink through the floor, because doctors don't ask that. And he said, The reason I'm asking, he said, is just at the top of the CT scan, we just caught the bottom of your lung and we found a lesion in your lung. And that is all he said. He said, we're going to send you back. You're going to have a CT scan, but this time of your chest, the whole of your chest. And then we will prioritize you for medical attention, and one of our specialists will be in contact with you for somewhere within the next 2 weeks. We're going to fast track you. I'm sorry to say that there's one word that went through my head at that time, and that's fuck. Quite imaginary. They went and did another scan, and that was it. I had to then sit and wait for the best part of 7 days for the results. And so that was a really, really difficult time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm talking to you now, because that crucial part of that experience was really interesting. Now I can say that in hindsight. It was a time that really tested what I thought I knew about myself. Naturally, your head goes to some dark places. Peter and I decided that we were not going to tell anyone, not going to tell any friends, we weren't going to tell any family, we weren't going to tell anyone, because we didn't know anything. We didn't know what this was, and we didn't want to be putting out lots of information, making people, worry, perhaps needlessly, I don't know, without the information there to support anything. And so we sat on it for a week, and that was really hard. And it tested all my understanding of what I thought my religions and beliefs were. It meant that it really tested my understanding and thoughts about tarot and cartomancy, and we'll come on to that bit and talk about that bit later. And it kind of made me suddenly realize that I didn't have a massive amount of time, and it was time to get off my bloody arse and get my life sorted. So for things like I don't have a will. There's lots of things I haven't done. There's lots of things I'm always saying, I've got to do that, and never get around to doing it. Suddenly I was confronted by the fact that I might not actually have very much time to get this done, if I can. So that was the kind of time that we had with that. Just going to take a little drink on there. Absolutely, Joan, waiting and not knowing is awful. Sorry, I'm trying to read everybody's chat there. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, lots of people know how that feels. I just know that it's a dreadful experience. The unknown is certainly the worst on that one there. Yeah. Well, do you know what? It was a fucking tower moment, and I'll probably talk about this again in a moment, but yeah, that's how it felt like. And I can talk about that in a moment, about my thoughts about the tower. Quite right, waiting for that, and yeah, waiting for results. And it was 7 life-changing days. Yeah. Drink some alcohol. I did hit the bottle. Well, I did actually consume more alcohol than I would normally. Yeah. Yeah. Have a sip. Oh, Gerald, I'm struggling breathing just listening to this. Oh, thank you, Ben. I think it's important to share that, because you've all been fantastic, and as a community, even though I didn't tell many of you, just being there has been really beautiful, cathartic, and supporting. Okay, so where were we? Live. Well, I can't remember where we done. I think it was about the time of the Jubilee. And it was just the week coming up to it. I got a phone call to say, like, the specialist would like to see you. So this is so it's within about 6 days I went to see the specialist to get the results. And of course, you just know that time is ticking away. In that week, I have to say, I did not pick up a single tarot card. Remember that. We're going to come back to that bit in a moment. Went saw the specialist, and he showed us the CT scan, and he said, right, you do have a really small 1 centimetre long lesion, unusually right down in the bottom right of your lung, but the rest of your lungs are clear. Now, that was my biggest worry from the information, is that if they had just caught this by accident, by happening to scan my intestines and other parts of that, then what the hell was happening to the whole of the lung if they just happened to catch that by accident? But he did clarify and just say, look, it's just that bit there. The rest of the lungs are clear. And he was brilliant. And we talked. I mean, I've always wondered how people working in that profession deal with talking, perhaps breaking news to people that they might not want to hear, and dealing with that. And he was absolutely fantastic as a locum doctor. And he basically said, right, it's 1 centimetre, it's down there, it's an awkward place to get to. But he did turn around and say, look, I'm not a betting person, but I don't think it's cancer, if that's what you're worrying about. But we need to check it out. And at that point there, he said, right, these are the things we're going to do. Do you agree to them? So they wanted to do more scans. They were going to scan my head. I had to go for lung breathing exercises and measures, lung capacity measures. I was going to have a PET scan, which is when they inject radioactive liquid into you, which basically fires up areas that may be suspect. So if there was anything like cancer, if it spread to other parts, they would be able to notice it. And he said, we may need to do a biopsy, or would you consider having a biopsy? I agreed to doing all of this. I said, look, you do what you have to do to find out what this is and to treat it. I pretty much handed my body over to the doctors. And I cannot believe that within 3 weeks of finding out that I had this lesion on my lung, I had every single test. And within 3.5 weeks, I'd actually had a biopsy in my lung, which is not pleasant. And I'm going to probably talk a little bit about that in a moment. So just to warn you. So, I mean, I'm really lucky. As I said, the NHS is fantastic. It's a bit of a lottery as to where you live in this country as to what treatment and how fast it takes, but they prioritize me. I got to the top of every list, and that gave me a lot of hope and a lot of things to think about. So yes, it's amazing what you do in those situations, how you cope. I went back to work. I was able to just carry on, but knowing that I'm constantly going to possibly have phone calls and telling me that I had to be somewhere in a day's time, and that was that. And I was actually able then to tell my friends, to tell my family, and to tell some people in the community here as well, because we knew what the situation was. The worst thing that could happen is that they were confident that if it had to be removed, that they could remove that part of the lung without pretty much any detriment to my breathing and everything else. So as far as the news went, if you're going to have news like that, it was the best kind of news. I hope that makes sense. And so I did. I had sat-in scanners, I had head scans, I had cannulas and blood taken every time I went anywhere near a hospital. My arms were, if you look at some of the videos, if you ever look back at them, you'll see there's bruises all up my arms. It was a rough time, and I had to kind of think of ways of coping with it. So one of the things I did when I was having the PET scan is you're in there for 45 minutes, which is not, it's okay, but it's quite a confined big scanner in there. And I sat there and I thought, right, what am I going to do? I'm going to go through every single one of the tarot cards, all the minor arcana, and I'm going to try and remember what the traditional meanings are. So I did all 78 cards, and then I thought, okay, I've got another 10 minutes in here. Let's do them as reversal. So I just sat there or I laid there and just sort of made the both best of the time. Absolutely. Thank you for the test. Yeah, absolutely. Your comments are brilliant. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, but it's the same in this country. Medical varies by state. Yeah. Yeah. And Emmy the Grey saying, I've had something similar last week. Sorry, I can't catch up with everyone's. Oh, you're not, but I'm tearing up. I'm sorry, but there we are. We're all here. Guys, you are so lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really, really nice. Really lovely. Thank you. So where do we get to? Yes. So then I went and had a biopsy in the lung. Yeah. Now, firstly, it was done in a hospital just the next town on for me. And I have to say, the staff there were amazing. And I will talk about the experience again when we come on to talk about the tarot and synchronicity, which we're going to do in a minute. Yeah, not a pleasant experience. The only way I'm going to describe it to people is I felt like one of those butterflies that's been pinned in a frame like that. They had to go in through my back. It took 45 minutes to position it, to get it right, but they did get some cells. I was really fortunate because the position of where this thing is meant that it was very near lots of important organs. It was very near ribs and vertebrae, whichever direction. It was really awkward. And the doctor did originally say that we might not find somebody that was actually be prepared to do this. It's in such an awkward place. And so I was so lucky that one doctor came forward and was prepared to do it. And I'm going to talk about him a little bit later on because this man is just brilliant. And what happened was brilliant. Anyway, had to wait 2 weeks for this. And the results came back. And they said it's not cancer. It hasn't shrunk. They think it's caused from an inflammation. I am still going to have to go and have tests to make sure that it is slowly shrinking or slowly getting better, or at least not getting any bigger. If it starts to get bigger, then I have to start the whole procedure all over again and have other PET scans. But they're going to keep an eye on it. It did also flag up another couple of things that I've just got to have checked out, but touch wood, those are all okay. I'm not too worried about those. But I came out of the whole thing within, where are we talking, 5-6 weeks of having gone in thinking I had appendicitis to all the tests and then coming out with what was a pretty remarkable result. So that's where we are at the moment. So that was just over 2 weeks ago I got the results. And that's why I thought I will save this and do this live with you once I got all the results and we know that, it all looks pretty good. Absolutely. Docs don't look to the lungs first. Yeah. And yeah, Lisa, PET MRI is so confining. Going through the cards is a great idea. Yeah, I did that. And I tried to think about the lyrics to We Don't Talk About Bruno. And I got to about the second or third line of it. And at that point, I couldn't remember. So I went, let's do the tarot cards instead. So thank you. I hope that talking about this is useful because it's useful for me. And I've learned a lot along the way. Thank you, Deanne. Do I still have the pain, or was that just a heaven? Do you know what? I've still got the pain. I've got it right now, but it comes in fits and starts. And I actually wonder whether it's something to do with perhaps the inflammation, and perhaps I think I've been eating too much spicy food recently as well. But I've got it at the moment. But it's manageable. All I could say, it's a bit like indigestion. Like indigestion is painful, but you can get it. It's not that kind of sharp pain. Oh. Well, you don't watch films, so you don't know. We Don't Talk About Bruno. Actually, it's a song, Gerald, from a Disney that actually reminds me very much of you. Yeah, you'll have to look that one up. What a roller coaster. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Hillary. I've just come in, but whatever's happening sounds dreadful. I'm glad you're okay. Just really sorry you had to come in halfway through that. Yeah, it's very worrying. Yeah. Um, when I've had those scans, I make up dance routines to the drum beats the machine makes. Yeah, it makes them really. It's a bit like being in a washing machine on fast spin, isn't it? It's a bit like yeah. Yeah, I kept my eyes closed the whole time. I'm like, I'm not looking. I just can't do that. Or I kept thinking it's like being on a really crap Disney ride. This one. I had to just make myself laugh about the whole thing. It's I had to try and find something light about to say about it. I had a family member with chronic benign growth disease, scans and surgeries every 18 months. It's the best feeling to get the green light from the docs. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Rock to the beats. Am I the only one working on sending healing magic? Everyone join and send them. Well, I was going to talk about that a bit later on. You were fantastic, Gerald, because you did send an awful, but you weren't the only one. And I'm not going to mention people because there are some people in chat here who also did that. Plus, my lovely friend Anne Curry from the Glastonbury Unity Candle as well. So she reached out and sent lots as well. And the Glastonbury Unity Candle family that I'm part of most evenings were really kind in sending collective healing and stuff as well. So, and it's things like that that just make it a bit more copable and a bit more yeah. But thank you from I was going to say from the bottom of my heart, but I should say perhaps from the bottom of my lung. I really thank you. You should have affairs in order. Get a will made. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. That's one thing I realised. Absolutely, I'd suddenly realised a lot of things, and one of the things I thought was, why the hell have I got all these decks? And in that week when I actually sat there and thought, you know, why am I collecting all these decks? Because I was just thinking, if I've only got a few months left, and that was the dark thoughts I was having, how am I going to get rid of them? Because Peter knows how much I'm devoted to them, I very much doubt he knows what the cost of half of them is. What am I going to do? And so it did make me suddenly realise that these lovely decks, as much as I love them, can become a little bit of an albatross around your neck in many ways. And I have to think, well, how would I get rid of it? What's the best way? I don't want to just send them to a charity shop. I want to share them with the community. So I'm going to come back to that bit in a moment. But you're absolutely right. And that's another thing. I've made a long list. Actually, it's not a long list. I decided at the summer solstice I was going to make some intentions. And one of them is to get tidier. And one of them, well, we'll talk about what the outcome of that is later on, because that's how we're going to end the live. Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, absolutely. And Anne says, working in health, I see it all the time when people don't have their affairs in order until it's too late. Yeah. And absolutely, the chat has just jumped. And Sandra, you did send lots of healing as well. Thank you. Thank you, all you lovely people. I knew you'd be supportive and wonderful. That's so kind. Thank you so much. Sending beautiful sunset happening right now. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Ellie says, I have more than one albatross when it comes to that. When you're getting older, it's time for cleaning house. Yeah. Sneaking in for a minute, Minasa. Hello, lovely to see you. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, and Ben says it's going to be buried in them. It's not good. You have enough to build a mausoleum, Ben. That's what you have. But thank you very much. It was the best, and I've just got to get for you a few more tests and a few more things, and I'm sure that will all be okay. Thank you, Deanne. That's really sweet of you. I knew you guys are just the best, and that's why I knew I wanted to do this and talk to you about it, because you all mean a lot to me, and I'm hoping I mean a bit something to you as well. And I think it's really important to share this amongst the community, because I can now. And I hope you understand why I didn't want to just choose my time to do it in. So what did I learn during the 7 days? I learned that I need to appreciate things more. I learned that I haven't done half the things that I've wanted to do, and that is silly. And I always make excuses for stuff. So, for example, I've always wanted to go to Jerusalem. And I know last few years has been difficult traveling. And let's face it, traveling anywhere in the UK right now is a problem. But it's not the thing that you should put off. If you've got your heart set on it and it's something that's going to make you happy, you do it, and do it when you can. That's what I've learned. What else did I learn? To enjoy nature. And I really I found a lot of solace in going out with trees and sitting with trees and photographing trees and just being with trees. I discovered as well that what I thought was my spiritual understanding was not as strong as I thought it was going to be. I thought I had this licked. I thought I knew it, or I thought I knew exactly what happens when the last few days and moments look like they're descending, and I realised I have not prepared or at all like that. So I need to do a little bit more soul searching and thinking about what my beliefs are. But that's fear that does that, and being in a situation where you might want to call on some spiritual support, and thinking about it. I hope that makes a bit of sense, Laurie. That's what I'm trying to say to you, is that I thought I had it all sorted, and that it'd be beautiful, and I'd be, the universe would reach out, and I'm sure it has, and I'm absolutely sure it has. It's just not in the way that I thought it was going to. So, but we will talk about that in a moment again. Sorry, I keep saying that, and that's a bit annoying, but I'm going to call upon some friends in a moment, and we'll have a bit more of a chat that way. I'm a little disappointed you didn't turn Spider-Man. Yeah. Well, what we did actually, what was interesting is there's a restaurant that Peter and I drive past quite a lot. And I always make a joke about, I'd really like to go there. It's just a kind of quite a naff steakhouse. But I've always, I'd really like to have a rack of ribs there. And we always drive past it. Probably drive past it once every fortnight or 2 weeks or something like that. The day we went for the PET scan, which was the one with the radiation, Peter had arranged to go afterwards. And not only that, he phoned my family, my sisters and my brother-in-law, and they all surprised me and turned up at this restaurant, and we sat and had ribs. But the reason I'm saying is that I had to warn, can I just check that no one's pregnant around here? Because, I am at the moment radiating, glowing somewhat. So, make sure the waitress was well aware of the situation. Having said that, we were the only ones in the restaurant, and it was all safe and fine. And I also realised that I can spend flipping great loads of money on things that make me happy. So I spent 75 quid on Yankee candles and didn't feel guilty about it, and won a little bit. So that's the other thing I learned as well. Oh, bless you guys. It's so lovely. Thank you for saying that. I have to say, I'm not here fishing for compliments, but it's really kind that you're saying that. I totally get that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I completely understand when it's happening. I can't talk about it either. Yeah. Absolutely. He has been remarkable. And also been lucky is that his boss was kind enough, who's a friend of ours as well, but was kind enough to give him the time to come with me. Because when you have these scans, you quite often have to wait some time, particularly the PET scan. You have the stuff injected and you have to wait an hour before it's done the business. So it was a good 3 hours, and he sat there and yeah. But that, yeah. You can't take it with you. Sounds trite, but it's true. Absolutely. Thank you, Debs. That's really kind. Oh, bless you. Thank you. enjoy every sandwich. Again, that's what I have taken from this, is that I need to enjoy every moment. Because you never know when something might come along. And I've always gone along really, I've fortunately been really healthy, more or less most of my life. I don't think I've ever, had anything particularly serious. And this was the first time it came along and just smacked me. Okay. Kind of smacked me across the face and gave me that wake up. And it was that tower moment. And I can't remember who was talking about tower moments. What I have discovered about tarot, and particularly the darker cards, has come out of this. And for me, the tarot is the tower, for example. It is that bolt out of the blue. It is when everything gets blasted. But the joy, and actually joy is the wrong word, not the joy. But when you are able to start rebuilding, you can rebuild in a new way that allows you to create magnificent things. Even though the foundations of the place might have been distinct, you have the ability to rebuild as you want it, the new you. And as much as we may fear the tower card, it is actually a fantastic chance to rebuild for the new you. It feels almost like a butterfly moment, a new emerging that's coming out. So you can rebuild your tower as tall as you want, as colourful as you want, with all the mod cons of a new tower. You can do that. And that's actually a refreshing thing, to be able to be given that opportunity sometimes to rebuild it, restyle it, and make it stronger and make it clearer for when you carry on after this moment. You never see it, of course, when it's happening to you. When that tower hits you, it hits you, and you can go into really dark places. I hope that makes some sense. Once the survival of it, yeah, it is really powerful. What's that, Ben? Can be seen from space with all his crystals. Thank you. Yes, I can. It's amazing how much we take for granted and how trivial most things become. Yes, birdsong, Yankee Candle, smell of a Yankee Candle. I know it sounds, it is, it's those moments. And also it's a kind of, I carried on teaching for most of this because I was able to put my brain into a different space and not have to worry about it. Because that was the biggest problem, I think, is waking up, because I slept really well. And that's probably the stress makes you sleep well because you're exhausted from it. But I wake up in the morning and it'd be like, oh, I've woken up, had a really nice night's sleep. And you put your foot out of bed to get up and it would hit you. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, I've got a lesion on my lung, Oh, God, it could be cancer. Oh, God, it could be, and it's that you have to enjoy those first split seconds before the world or the situation slaps you around the face with it again. I am going to bring in, now it's a really interesting statement, Lisa. I am now going to bring in one of my special guests. Are you ready, Ben? Hi, can you hear me? I don't know if you're on mute or something. Are you on?
I'm on mute, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Darling. I know you've been sitting in the background, haven't you?
Oh, and Richie, I think it's so wonderful that you've shared this with us, and I think you're an amazing person. And I know because we spoke about it, didn't we? How hard this was for you.
Yeah.
And I think you've been so brave and wonderful through it, and I just think you're an amazing person. We love you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I couldn't have done it, as I said, without talking to you and other people. I kept the pool small because I didn't want. It's easy to control emotions and kind of talk about stuff like that, and I really appreciate the people in here who I've spoken to about this. There is somebody else, of course, and he needs to come in now because here he is now. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, popping in there. I need to put myself in the middle, because I should.
A rose between two thorns.
A rose between two thorns. And I mean, we're going to talk about the tarot and our beliefs and stuff with us in a moment, if that's okay. And that's why I thought I'd bring you two lovelies in because it wouldn't be alive without you. But I'm just going to say thank you. And as I say, thank you to Sandra, thank you to Orshi, thank you to everyone who has helped me and Peter through this. And, it's been a really difficult but interesting and thought-provoking time. So we're going to talk about the tarot because I've spoken to you about my tarot moments and it's been quite interesting. And I'd like your thoughts and takes and ideas behind this as well. We're going to come back to Lisa in a moment and the doctor because that's a lovely bit of synchronicity that happened there. I'm going to start that, but I seem to have lost it. But, oh, there it is. We'll come back to that bit in a moment. Now, when I first told you about it, I said I have not been near a tarot card. Have you ever had situations where you've just said, no, I don't want to know what those cards have got for me? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ben.
You don't mind sharing?
Yes. I always see tarot cards as my thoughts on the table, but there's always that one chance that you're going to turn a card over that's a future card and you're going to see a card that you don't want to see. And I have done the same as you, Richie. I don't like to look at it. If I'm going through something like you've been through, I think I'm just happy, going through the experience, but I don't like to look into the future about it because, it will play on your mind if you see something bad. And I think that's the thing, it's if it plays on your mind. And I think us tarot readers are quite sensitive people. So I think that, if we do see something like, because I think, didn't you say, Richie, that you did do a reading prior to this?
Yeah.
You kept getting a certain card come up.
I did my birthday. So I said it all happened the week before. My birthday the week before. I looked up a birthday reading. And I remember at the time sitting there going, that's it. I can't tell you what all the cards were, but I can tell you that the first card was, what's the theme of this birthday? And I had the death card. And where's it going to be, or where are we going to be in a year's time? And I got the 10 of Swords. And I swear to you, the 10 of Swords have stalked me every time. And as I said, I have not picked up the tarot all that much. I could pretty much predict it was going to be the 10 of Swords. I've probably done. In fact, I'll tell you something. The second time, the day after, sorry, not the first time, but the day we went back to the hospital, it was early in the morning. Now, I have an app, The Fool's Dog, on my phone. I don't know if either of you have got that. And they do a card of the day. And I remember because we got up early, I thought, and I'd literally been for the test, the CT scan, the first one, and I was waiting to see the doctor. And I thought, I haven't done my card of the day. I pulled up bloody 10 of Swords. And within 2 minutes, the doctor said, like, can I come? I need to come and talk to you. Can you come into my office? And that is all I kept thinking of when I went and had that second scan, 10 of Swords, 10 of Swords. And it has been following me around. Almost so that it's almost laughable how much it's happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I know that played on your mind because I know when you told me, you looked very concerned about it. And I think you didn't want to carry on with tarot for a bit after that, did you? And I totally agree with you with that.
Well, I'm going to ask Gerald, actually, has that ever happened to you where you've put the cards aside and gone, no, not today, Satan?
Yes, actually, both of the times that my parents were in the process of dying, I got to a point where I made the choice of I'm not going to be looking at the cards because that's taking my attention away from being with them as much as I can. I don't want to worry about what's coming. The like Ben said, the future. That future card, I'm just at this point, I want to be with them as completely as I can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, So I wasn't reading. I was shuffling. However,
Yeah.
sometimes the nervousness, but yeah.
Well,
So
I was in the situation where I was like, right, I don't want to know. And also my head's not in the right space for it.
mhm.
That's the other thing. But I'm happy to do readings for other people. And in fact, we did the Letha stuff and all that
Yes.
one. There was twice I was on people's lives and I asked them to pull a card for me. And one was with you, Ben, when you were with Tanji. And actually, I mean, I know you knew what was going on. And I asked actually very much, Ben, would you mind pulling me a card? You don't have to if you don't want to, because I didn't want to put that added pressure onto you. And you happened to pull
Mhm.
the strength card, which of course was absolutely the right card for that moment in time. But I also got a very good understanding of what the Ten of Swords was. In my head, the Ten of Swords is always the death. That's it. Goodbye, sayonara. There was one point, and I think I spoke to both of you about this, was I looked down at my arms and they were just covered in bruises. They couldn't find any more veins in my arms. So I've had so many bits and
Wow.
pieces put into me, not catheters, taken blood, needles and stuff. And I looked down and that's exactly what it was. The Ten of Swords is
Mhm.
about having the pain of being injected and having needles and the worry that goes with it all. It no longer means to me, oh, that's it, final curtains, goodbye. It's you still got this bloody great process to go through, and it's going to be painful, and and it could be treacherous. I mean, when they did the biopsy, there was a 20% chance my lung wouldn't inflate afterwards. It's all those kind of risks and gambles that you have to weigh up and chew over.
And
That's now the new meaning of the Ten of Swords to me.
don't forget that we don't like reading on things like bad that you perceive as bad at the time, and things like nobody would read on, oh, when am I going to die?
Yeah.
Would you say it's perfectly normal for you to withdraw, I think, from tarot, because
Oh, of course.
of course you're going to think every time you pull a card it's going to relate to that situation, and nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, if that's in your mind,
Yeah.
then of course that's what's going to come out, isn't it?
And especially for doing read, I did not do any readings for myself during those times, and I completely understand that, Richie. It's like I can do stuff for other people, I just can't do it for me. No. So
Can I ask, Richie, have you read
Yeah.
on your tarot card since you got?
Do you know what? And this is again one of the reasons why I came on here to do it. Is some of the people on here follow me. I used to do a card of the day, and I stopped doing that because it was just no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I did it again for the first time this week. But again, I decided I'm not going to become a slave to that and be doing it regimentally every night. I'm going to
yes.
do it when I need to. And it was really nice to see some people like it and comment on it. And that's been fantastic. But again, this whole experience, Ben, has been about, like, I'm coming back different.
Yeah.
And that's what this talk's about.
Mhm.
I'm coming back, but I'm coming back different. What was really interesting is I had a conversation with Orshi, and we talked about what do you do when you want to have a reading or want some support from the universe, from the cards, but you don't want to pick up a tarot pack. And she gave me the best piece of advice, and that's why I went out and bought this. And I did a flip through of this.
Oh.
You may remember we were popping up on lives quite a lot because I was having to self-isolate before going to have operations, which is why some people going, oh, you want to work? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not at work because I'm just about to have a needle stuck in my lung, but we didn't go down that road. But I did a lot of flip throughs of this, and this, I mean, all she recommended this, and it has just been a beautiful deck to work with at a time like this because it's not all unicorns and sparkles, but there's nothing in there that's not worrying, but you're happy to put a card and work with it rather than going, oh no, I'm not shuffling those, or I'm putting that one back in the deck and ignoring it. So Walshy, thank you for that one because I still use it, and it's now part of my regular practice with that one.
I love
And
that because she does say good stuff like that, doesn't she?
what was the name of that?
It is the Denise Lynn Sacred. I keep calling it Sacred density. No, it's just been teaching that. It's Sacred Destiny Oracle, and it's just
Thank you.
really nice. At the moment I saw it, I've done a walk through my channel, but the pictures are nice and big and colourful. My camera's not set up to focus, so it's all very misty. It's all very. It's just nice, and it's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Just one word on there. Work with it. Sacred Destiny.
Beautiful advice. Yeah.
So, Orshi, thank you for putting me on that, because I'm still using it and I love it.
It's beautiful.
So I need to talk to you about the Doctor. Actually, sorry, it's we're going to talk about it because I've spoken to you about this one, and Lisa did ask the question. Sign from the universe, wonderful Doctor. This is what gave me possibly the most strength. Particularly, well, it was at the time I had the biopsy. So I did say that the Doctor, they had to search pretty much the area for a doctor who was prepared to do it. And I turned up and I said, the people at the hospital are brilliant. The doctor came up to talk to me. He's a young doctor. And talked to me about the procedure. And I happened to be reading this book at the time, which is all about the long night Wilmington. And it's one of those really old books from the 80s where everything's now completely wrong, but it's one of those fascinating books. Anyway, he came up to talk to me, so I put it down on the bed so I could listen to him. And he did always say, right, you need to do this, and this is what we're doing. And, you know, your lung might not inflate afterwards, but don't worry about it. And he looked down at the book and he went, oh, he said, that's interesting. What's that about? And I said, well, it's about the chalk drawing. Yes, he said, I know the chalk figure. And he said, oh, it's about ley lines in there. And I went, well, yeah, there is a lot about ley lines. He said, oh, he started talking about ley lines. And then he said, you know that all the ley lines meet up at Glastonbury, and Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the world. I nearly fell off the bed at this point because, sorry to speak out of term, but, you know, you have doctors who are, you know, surgeons or, you know, like that. And you have a lot of people. And I never assumed that, you know, the two of them tend to go to bed together very well. You know, and the fact was, we were both talking and, you know, really knew a lot of stuff. And he said the best thing, he said, as we walked away, he said, I think we were supposed to meet and be together today. And that gave me the courage to think, as he was putting a needle in my lung, I can put up with this because I know that we are a team and I know that we were meant to be together, because you've kindly said that you're going to risk doing this and you're one of the few people in the area who will do it. And that was synchronicity for me. And I was telling someone about it and they talked about the web of the weird. Have you heard of the web of the weird?
No.
It's a design. It's about the mesh. Basically, it's a design that's like a rectangle with lots of diagonals in it and lines. And it's all the different runes. You can see all the runes written in it. But it's the idea that the past, the present, and the future are all combined together. I thought I might have to get that as a tattoo after all of this, because it just meant everything was finally, even as the hideous as it is, was working together, and that gave me the courage to just go, yeah, this is meant to be, and I'm meant to go through this, and I'm meant to come out with this. So yeah,
just listening to you talk, Richie, you can see that this has had such a profound you know, effect on you spiritually as well, because you seem like you're almost glowing, I think, from this experience, from having learned something about yourself and your spirituality.
I think that's true. I'm a person that loves Glastonbury and all the things and all the crystals and all the cards and all the ornaments and all of that. But what it's taught me is that as much as I love all that and it's important to me, actually, that was just the periphery stuff going on around the outside. And actually, what's important is to get myself into the center of that circle and work with myself and learn from this and do something and be more proactive in it and not just be dazzled by the labradorite and the rainbows and the sparkles and the fairies. As much as that's important, that is still important, but that was getting in the way of the big picture.
Yeah, it was getting in the way from you being in the center of that web of the weird.
Yeah.
And so that way you can radiate your power in a different way.
Yeah.
So
when I decide where I'm going to have it done, I shall get it done. Perhaps
Nice.
across my face, my forehead. No, I better not.
Chest.
Just there. I'm just going to catch up. MA says, I had a lovely doctor who made me do guided chakra meditation.
Oh, nice.
Meditation. Oh, I got stuck with the lovely boys. Oh, and tying this to sacred density. What's the matter with me today? Sacred destiny is one of my favourite texts too. Yeah, it was absolutely fortunate that we met up. And I owe him a lot, and I owe all the staff there a lot. Absolutely. Oh, and Anne just let us know the web of the weird is a symbol in Norse mythology. It represents the interconnectedness of the past, the present, and the future. There you go. Beautifully said, Ange. So if you want to have a look, Google the image and you'll see what I mean by that one. So, yeah. Tattoo on the back of the head. Yeah. It is for sacred density from now on. Yes, absolutely.
I'm agreeing. I'm like going, I don't have that deck, but now.
I thank you everyone for putting it all in there. That's absolutely great. People just Googled it. So I think that's the story. I hope that's answered people's questions. Ellie did ask, did tarot support you at this time? I think we've done that one. When I'm in a bad place, I drop all my hobbies and do not touch the cards. It's really interesting, isn't it? Is that again, it's almost like how much of it's routine, picking up a card every day and doing a reading. And it's what we do. It's always, I'm a tarot reader, and this is what I do. And yes, of course it is. But sometimes when the ground shakes underneath you, it does, it's a bit of a tower moment, and it makes us go back.
Is. Makes you reflect, doesn't it? Definitely.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I brought you two on here to discuss what I'm going to do about this, because I need your help with a few things, because you've got your spanners and you've got links and stuff. So like I said, one of the things I've learned is that I need to get myself back into
tiny hand alert.
Is to get into the center and sort things out. And one of the things is I'm going to get tidier. And I've talked about decks and getting stuff sorted that way. So I have decided to actually I don't say give thanks back to it, but I've decided I'm going to start raising money for 2 charities. Okay.
Nice.
And they're 2 charities, because when in that week, which was a dark week, I kind of thought, Richard, what, you've got nothing, you have no legacy, it was one of those dark places. I want to do something. I want to come through this and I want to give something back. And I don't quite know what that was. And then it dawned on me when I was walking, there are 2 charities that I are now going to be supporting. And I'd like to talk about them. So if you don't mind, chaps, we're going to talk about this one first, which is the Asthma and Lung UK charity. And I did send you some links. If you've still got it, if you can pop them in the chat, that would be great. They're both on a Just Giving page, and I'm going to talk about how I'm going to raise money for this. I do appreciate that at the moment money is tight for many people, so I'm not here to that, but if any donations, gratefully received. So I set up justgiving.com fundraising Long Man Breathe, and it's for the Asthma and Lung UK charity that used to be just the lung thing, and they look after anyone that's had lung issues, and as the name suggests, asthma. And I think we all know people either in our family or people we work with who have asthma and know how frightening that is. My mum and my sister both have asthma, and when people have attacks, it is a frightening thing. The other thing, because I realise it's a UK charity and all of you lovely people are scattered around this beautiful planet, I've also picked charities that will, although based in the UK, their research and whatever will contribute stuff. So again, what they also do is they are monitoring the carbon monoxide levels in cities, and they're doing a lot of research on young people's breathing and the effect of the pollutions in the skies, and what can be done to do it. So they're going to share all their information as they come out with people around the world and different charities and different medical professions, so that we've got a better understanding of what effects this is having on young people particularly. So that's the charity that I have decided I wanted to do. So that's that one. So that is www.justgiving.com fundraising Longman Tarot Breathe. And I can see people have already given some money to that one, so very kind. The other one is one to do with trees, because I banged on about trees. And this one is the Woodland Trust. And the Woodland Trust is, again, a UK charity, but they not only help rewild and grow trees and reforest, but they actually protect the ancient woodlands in this country, which
Beautiful.
sadly are constantly under threat from developers. And they are actually cataloguing about 2,500 trees that they know exist but don't actually know where the grid reference and the map references are. They not only protect, they catalogue, they save, they record, and hopefully will keep these ancient trees as well as plant new trees for us. And again, that will just help. And everybody needs to have a tree in their life, don't they?
Everybody needs to hug a tree.
Everyone
At least one. I mean, come on.
One.
I mean, come on, people. Hug a tree. Make a donation. Do it, people. Even a pound works.
I will say that if you are going to make a donation, I really appreciate it, and I thank you very much for doing so. Also, there will often be asked about gift aid. There's a box for gift aid, and in the UK, if you tick that box, you don't have to pay any more money, but the government pay the money back to the charity. So basically, you're not taxed on the money that you are giving. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It doesn't to me, but okay.
Okay. You tick the box, and basically, rather than losing some of the money, the government will give the tax back to the charity.
Oh, this is a good thing.
All the money goes to them, and you don't have to do anything apart from tick the box. Does that make sense?
You tick the box, people.
Tick the box.
Tick the box.
So that's the charities. This is just going to be ongoing. I'm not setting a target. It's just we are going to. That's what I'm going to focus on in the next few years. Just Giving is a really good. They don't charge to do this, and the money goes instantly to the charities. It's not like I have to send off or something. It will automatically go there. So that's really good. So thank you if you have, but we're going to talk about how we're going to raise some money. The first thing is I'm going to get rid of some of my decks. Well, I've already talked about I've got too many of them, and it's a conversation so I will be in the next few weeks auctioning off, selling off. I'm not going to auction, but I'm going to sell off quite a lot of my decks. I've decided I'm going to whittle them down. Now, what I'm going to probably do is a bit of a live auction. I'm going to think about how it works, but I'm going to let people know. I'm going to have something on Facebook to say, so people can have a look at the photos, decide that they want to. I don't mind posting to anywhere in the world, but obviously people will cover the postage. But that's one thing I'm going to do. Also, believe it or not, I've got a hell of a lot of very old tarot books. I've got 2 shelves of them. Okay. But I almost as many as yours, my lovely. Almost as many as yours.
Okay.
I want to get rid of them because they're sitting on the shelf and I'm not reading them. So I'm going to be selling books as well. So keep watching, and I'm going to be doing it. It's all raising money for the charities. You can choose whichever one you want to, which one you feel you more drawn to, or you can split your donation between the two of them. I don't mind how you do it, but I'm just going to get the collection down. So that's one of the ways we're going to raise money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing is I'm going to be doing a bit more online reading for people. And I know that you two are very good readers as well. But I know there's quite a lot of fabulous readers out there in that chat.
There are.
Just saying. So what I'm going to do regularly, and I say regularly, not every week, but at certain points, we're going to do some readings, live readings, and people can therefore contribute what they can afford for those readings. Would you two be up for that?
Absolutely.
Yes, please. No, wait, Ben. We were too enthusiastic. Let's make it wait.
Sorry.
I tell you one thing: it won't come with a contract. You don't have to sign any contract.
I mean,
count me in.
Just make sure you tick the box for gift aid.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes, absolutely. Would love to do that.
I mean, if there's no contract, that's just
it's freestyling, Ben. That's what I've learned. Life's too short. If you don't want to wear trousers when you're doing it, it's entirely up to you. I'm not going to put that in the contract.
I mean, this is something new, isn't it, Gerald?
Wow.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm good. I mean, I'm wearing trousers right now.
Really?
I am. And if people donate, they can see my legs.
Who knows what they might get?
You might do a special, Gerald, if they donate more.
Can you give us all a head start before opening up the deck sale to Ben and Joe? Yeah, well, to help them out, you just need to bid more and outbid them. That's what you need to do.
And I do not know which decks he's going to be
I'm going to do them a little bit at a time. I'm going to just do, this is an ongoing thing. I don't want to go, here's 50 decks, and we'll just do it bit by bit by bit. And even if people can't afford to do it straight away, as long as there's some kind of agreement that they will pay in installments or whatever, I'm happy to do it that way. So
Hillary Hagstone is like, what's happening? I had to go put fish fingers on. What did you put fish fingers on? That's what I want to know.
Or did you put fingers on the fish?
I don't know.
Okay, Gerald, what have we been talking about? Recap for Hillary.
Hillary, Richie is going to be, he has set up 2 spots of donations. They are linked below in the description. And Ben and I have put them into the chat. And then Richie is going to be auctioning off some tarot decks and some tarot books. And those funds, with the exception of the shipping, will go to said charities.
Yeah.
And you also...
Sorry, carry on.
You are also going to be doing readings periodically.
Yes.
To raise money for these charities. You have asked Ben and me to help with that, to which we both are very happy to do that. So.
And if anyone in chat would like to join me or join us, please just drop me a message on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, Longman Tarot, and I'm sure we can arrange it, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help the charities.
Yes, we are. And you're going on with Richie. That means Ben and I won't be there unless you want us there. I mean,
who wouldn't want you there?
I don't know.
Well, let's face it, who's going to pass the biscuits round if we're not there?
That's true. Who's going to throw the biscuits round?
Yeah, that's true.
Regina's asking for pantaloons.
Oh,
perhaps. I was thinking more of a knickerbocker myself, but there you go.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a point.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
books and decks, but where's this auction so I can spend irresponsibly? I'm going to flag it up to you. I'm going to give you plenty of warning. Once I've got my head around how we're going to do it, we're going to probably auction them somehow on the live or through Facebook. I'm loath to do eBay because they always take a lump sum for doing it. So, but I will give everyone plenty of heads up, including you two.
Thank you.
And let's face it, Richie has some really eclectic stuff. He's got some great decks. I'm sure whatever it is.
Well, I have to say, I'm probably, we did the black and white challenge all the other day. I'm probably going to get rid of most of those.
Really? Yeah.
Apart from the one with the caps on it, because Peter bought me that one. But probably most of those. Because I did enjoy them, and I actually thought, this is the first time I picked them up for God knows how long. So it just goes to show, I'd rather give them something to some nice people that are going to use it. So there we go.
I think that's good.
I'm not going to try and read that out, Ange. I'm sorry there. But I'll go with the Knickerbocker Glory. It's an hour and 10 minutes in. I think I have completely exhausted everything I'm going to say. I've done an awful lot of talking. So let's just talk generally amongst ourselves for 5 minutes. How are you two lovely boys?
Very good. I mean, it's very sunny here in the UK. It's very hot.
Can it get hotter?
Yes, it's worse next week here. Which week won't be able to
make sure you apply cream to your face.
Yes.
To your nose.
Everywhere.
Don't forget your ears and the back of your neck.
Yeah. Your neck especially. I mean, Gerald, is it hot?
You should also apply lotion to your pig.
Yeah.
But you don't need to apply your lotion to your hippos. Do you know that?
No. Why is that?
Because hippos produce their own sun cream.
Do they?
In their sweat.
I mean, come on.
This fascinating. I'm a teacher, trust me. Do you know what color hippo sweat is?
Gray.
White?
What are you saying? Gray? White?
Gray.
Gerald, it's the color of your lovely shirt. It's pink.
Really?
Wow, well, I never knew that.
It's pink and it's a natural sun cream.
Wow.
That's why you never see burnt hippos. Or at least you don't in my local area.
That's true. Well, we don't really have. Do we have hippos in the UK?
In zoos, possibly.
Oh, yeah.
I've not seen one in the local beach for a long time.
No.
Is this a code for something?
It might be an indoor sheltering because it was too hot.
You're more likely to see a mermaid on the beach than a hippo in this country, aren't you?
You are. Yeah. I saw a seal the other day in the sea, which is quite unusual.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know what to. I don't know what to say after that.
Or she's like, Google it. If you don't believe me, Google it. Yeah. Oh, Deanne nearly there. She went for a nice shade of purple. That Gigi's on it. It's pink. Yeah. 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 That is evolution. Absolutely. I'm just saying. I'm going to just wrap this up, actually, guys, if that's okay to you. But I'm going to give you a chance to talk about your channels, and then I'm going to just say a big thank you to everyone. Ben, do you have much coming up this week?
No, I don't this week. The only thing I have coming up next Saturday is Robin's channelversary. He's been on for 3 years. So
wow.
and Mel are joining him for that. So I'm really looking forward to that, to celebrate him. And that's it for me for now. So yeah.
That's cool.
Gerald, have you got
I have some stuff up. I have a laugh and learn on Monday at 7 p.m. BST with Joe, formerly of Behind the Veil, now The Power of Purpose. We're talking about grief and grieving. And then on Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, I have a casual with Manasa. So you'll have to watch that as a playback, Richie, because
Oh,
you'll be asleep.
well, I might actually just set the alarm to stay up and watch that one.
Okay. I mean, great. And then I'm with Jane the Seeker on Tuesday on her channel doing readings. And then I have another Laugh and Learn with medium Betsy Palmer, where we're talking about mediumship. So,
Ooh.
and
That's interesting.
yes, it'll be very interesting. So I've been wanting to do this one for a while, so it'll be fun.
Lovely. Lovely.
So yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be here next Friday, so please don't worry about that. Having talked about everything we've gone through, don't suddenly think I've been cast off. It's just a best friend's 60th birthday, and it's on a Friday. And as much as I love doing lives, going to a friend's 60th party is a bit important. So therefore, I'm going to go to that one.
Ben, are you going to go live instead?
I don't know, because I don't know what I'm doing next Friday. I can check the diary.
Fill that airtime up. However, I might have taken the Friday off, but I'm coming back with a storm. The following Friday, Linnea Weatherstone is coming onto the channel to talk about her deck, Forest of Enchantment. Enchanted Forest, I can never remember. I have to learn that really before she comes on. But yeah, so that's very exciting.
And Richie, can I just say thank you so much for sharing this story with us. I think it was a very brave thing to do, because it's not easy talking about what you've been through, because I know how much it's angst you've gone through the past few weeks, let alone talking to everybody is a very brave thing.
Yes.
So, I think it's wonderful. And I'm so glad, and I'm sure I say this on behalf of everybody, that you're okay, because you're such a wonderful part of this community. And you're a wonderful person, and we would really be lost without you here.
Thank you. Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to share this with you, because we are all connected like a web of the weird. But we are all
web of the weird.
We are all part of this together, and we go through the highs, we go through the lows. We're there for one another, and if anything, if we raise money for charity, then that's brilliant. If people learn from stuff, people go and get themselves checked out, brilliant. Thank you. And again, it just goes to show what fantastic friends and wonderful people are on here. And
go
on.
Oh, I was just going to say, and when we do our long stash readings, there will be opportunity for donations.
Yeah, and we are doing our second part of our Lenormand reading, and that would be an opportunity to hopefully, if people can contribute, and it can be any amount. I'm really,
yes, it's wonderful.
Something is better than nothing. Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. I really appreciate sharing this with you. Oh yeah, now where's the stormtrooper? Has anyone spotted it?
Oh no, I haven't today.
While you're looking, I'm just going to read out Beth's. Thank you very much for sharing it with us all. I'm so happy you rose from the ashes of the tower with a renewed outlook and your health. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have you spotted it yet, Ben?
No, I have not.
It's behind the wheel.
It is.
He's hit it very carefully.
He has.
I wouldn't know, to be honest with you.
Having it done very well.
Yeah. Well done, Peter.
Oh, it's there. I'm not going to go and get it. It is there, believe me. I'll make it a little bit obvious next. I'll take a photo or something like that. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. And thank you if you've contributed or are about to contribute or will contribute to the charities, because they are something very close to my heart and help a lot of people.
Yes.
So, without any further ado, have a great weekend. Stay safe in the sun, and see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.